Hi everybody, Colin here. Today's project is called Puzzle Room and it's like an adventure game where you've got to solve problems to get out of the game. Okay, let's get coding. So we're going over to the Raspberry Pi projects and we're looking for filtering for scratch, and it's on the second page, this game here. And essentially we're building a game where we're going to make this character here called Monet solve 3 puzzles in the room. So the first puzzle is he's got to, well, you could do them in any order. He's movable by pressing the arrows on the screen here. You might want to make yours move in a different way, but that's how this game's set up. And when he's close enough to pressing the button here, we'll need to be a bit closer. It's all based on the center of his body, so that's got to be close to the big button. 5. So that's that task complete. And the same sort of thing happens when he gets near the chair for shooting asteroids. We don't actually have to click the mouse on that. It's just the rock will just run over the trigger. And then there's another one over here which I'll let you see when we get there. Okay, so there's a starter project for this project, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remix it. Colin, and I'm going to drag that down, Windows right arrow key, back to instructions, Windows left arrow key, and squash that over so that we've got our working area and we've got the code to work. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in a new sprite. This project has 3 things already. It's got the hand wheel, a button that's on the keypad there, a chair, and they call it the port. It's the window view for sitting in the chair. We're going to add a new sprite. We can search for him by name, and that's Monet brought into the puzzle. He's a bit big for our purposes, so I think what we'll do is we'll bring in an event that when the green flag is clicked, we're going to change his size, set size to 40%. Does that work? A bit small. 60. Oh, that'll do. Entirely up to you. I've done it there. You could change the number there, but I've decided to go for when the red flag is clicked. And also I want him to start off in that position each time he starts. So having moved him into that position under motion, I'm just going to grab the go-to block, and that's going to have the X and Y coordinates of where he is just now. So if I drag him around, press the green flag, he's always going to go back to that position to start. We're going to build the navigation panel, and we're going to go and get some arrows. There we go. And we're going to duplicate that 4 times or 3 times. And we'll click the first one first of all. We'll rename it right. I'm going to rename it Go Right. And when the sprite is clicked, I'm going to get a block for when this sprite is clicked. When this sprite is clicked, we're going to broadcast the Go Right message. So that's another control. This is a message, new message, Go Right. Let's bring, which one of the arrows is it? It's that one there. So that's the one to go right. We're going to need to make it point in the, oh, it is pointing in the right direction. Okay. So that's the first one down. Now we've got to do the same for the other three arrows. So the second arrow we're going to call go left. Third one, go up. And the fourth one, go down. Let's change the costume on the go left to be a left-handed arrow. So that's left. So that arrow can go and park itself just there. The go up one wants to be that arrow there. So that's the one we know is the go up arrow. And the go down arrow is the other arrow. You might know a different way of doing the movements here, but this is the way this project's been built, so I'm just going to follow those instructions. And now we need to add back to our code for the first one. So when the right hand arrow is clicked, he's going to broadcast go right. I'm going to click on the go left. When this sprite is clicked, broadcast message, new message, go left. I don't know if this is quicker. I'm just going to grab that and pop it onto the go up. Pop the next one onto the go down. Go to go up. Change that. Oh, it's a little bit quicker, isn't it? Go up. And go down. So that's our three movement controllers coded. Now we're going to go to Monet, and we're going to add some code that allows him to move around. So when I receive four of these, duplicate, duplicate, and duplicate. When I receive go up, I want to increase his Y value. So that's under motion. Change Y by 10. So that if I just click that one now, he's going up. To go down is going to be the opposite of that. So we'll just pop that in there and put a minus sign in there. So now if I click that one, or indeed the arrow, that's him going down. And then to go, oh, that's up and down. Let's change this one to left, and this one to right. Go left and right. So to go left and right, we need to change the X values. And that's to go left would be a change X by -1. Test that as we go along. So he's going left. Just duplicate that. Pop that on there. Take the minus sign off there. And now we've got a way of controlling our man left, right, up and down. Save our project. It's been saved automatically because the save button isn't there for me. So now we're going to go on to program the puzzle button. So the puzzle button is the icon is just this little area on the button on the control pad here. There's some code already that just controls that it makes sure it starts off in the right place. And we're adding some code to this one so that it's forever on top of the screen, so we should always be able to see it. So we're going to put a forever loop around that. Oops. Forever loop on that, and we're going to go to front layer. And what is that? Go to front layer. That just makes sure the button stays on top of the page. And we're going to create a variable now called button pressed. So variables, button pressed. And we're going to initialize this so that when the game starts, when the green flag is clicked, we're going to set the value to 0. So set button press to 0. We're going to add a... Actually, it looks like I need to do it on a separate go-to button, a green button. So I'm just going to go and get another one of those. Put that over there. We might be able to amalgamate them later on. But we're going to add a repeat until the button's been pressed 5 times. So that's control, repeat until, it's this one down the bottom here. And we want an operator. And it's that one there, it's got the equal sign in it. We're going to add our variable button pressed into there. I'll change that to 5. So that's going to keep repeating. The next bit of code we're adding is to make sure that the button's only pressed when Monet is within a certain distance of the button. So let me just check something here. Yep, so on the button sprite, we're adding this code to the button, we're adding this code to the button. So when this sprite is clicked, it's the if then else block we want in there. And there's we want the less than sign, so that's the one with the little end with an arrow, with the smaller end to the left and the bigger end to the right, so it's this one here. And we want distance to Monet is less than 50. So if the distance to Monet is less than 50, change button press by 1. So that's saying that if he's close enough to be able to press the button, then we'll allow the variable to change. Change button pressed by 1. And if he's not close enough, and this is quite mean, we're going to set the value to 0. So let's just see if that works then, shall we? So let's navigate Monet to close to the button. Alright, that should be close enough. And now if I click the button, you can see the button pressed has gone up once. I can press it 2 times, 3 times. What I'm just going to do now is I'm just going to make sure that the resetting to 0 works. So now he's more than 50 away from the button. So I press that now, the button pressed has gone back to 0. So in the code here, in this block of code here, it's the else statement here that's kicked in to reset that to 0. We're now going to re-add some code back into our button pressed. It's the helped text that appears on the screen. So we're going to say we're going to use a couple of join blocks here. So there's on the operators page, there's a join and a join. Now in computers, joining is sometimes called concatenation, but it does just mean join. So I'm going to add button pressed my variable into here. and I'm going to pop that in there. So now I've actually joined. I can join three things together. I can add some text at the beginning. Button pressed. I need to put a space after that there, else it all comes out squished up together. And change banana to space and times. And we're going to get the say block, which is under looks for some reason. Say button pressed X number of times. And now, so all the time that the button is less than 5, or until the button value is 5, it's going to say how many times the button's been pressed, and then we're going to say task complete for 2 seconds. So I'm just going to grab that one there and go task complete. Right, so let's just press stop. Let's press our green flag. So it's telling me the button hasn't been pressed at all. If I try and click the button now, it doesn't work because he's more than 50 away. If I drag Mono up to the code, and if I click that now, you'll see that the number of times pressed has increased by 1. Let's just press that back, move him away, press it again, and it goes back to 0. So the variable button pressed is being passed into this, it's called a string, and I've concatenated the string with the value of button pressed and another string. Okay, the only thing I haven't checked is does it say task complete for 5 after the 5th time. So let's just quickly test that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go, task complete. So I like to test it when I'm building something that everything works as I go along. Save my project. So that is the button challenge completed. We've got a wheel on the door over here, and something I was going to do is I was just going to change the costume a little bit. I'm going to change one of the handles so you can see that it's moving. Let's just see, does that work? Okay, so I'm going to put a dot on one of the handles so we're able to see that that's been moving. Right. So having selected the hand wheel, we're going to add, when the hand wheel is turned, so when the green flag is clicked, we need a variable called hand wheel turned. Hand wheel turned. You might have noticed I tend to put an underscore in between my variable names. That's good practice because when you get coding into other programming languages, the program will see that there's been 2 different values. So by putting the underscore in there, and that's the line on the top of the minus sign, it just keeps it all together as one big word. Some people will do camel case and just do it like that. I've seen people put minus signs in there. I'm just using a character to keep them all together. So we create that variable hand wheel turned, and when the green flag is clicked on the hand wheel sprite, we're going to set hand wheel turned to 0. The wheel needs to go around 3 times, and that's the test we're going to make for when this finishes. But there's another little extra challenge to add to this. So it's the repeat until block, and we're repeating until hand wheel equals 3. 3, and go get my variable, hand wheel turned equals 3. We've got another one of these concatenation blocks or joining blocks, so we want 2 of those. 1, 2, build it up in here. I need that hand wheel turned variable in the middle, and hand wheel forget to put a space after that one there, and a space before this one. And we want the say, which is under motion. No, it's not, it's under looks. Put that in there. And then say task complete for 2 seconds. So that's the first part of it, and that's the help text that appears. If I didn't have, so if yours looks a bit like this, if you've done this and when you press the go button, it comes up all squished up together. It's because you haven't put the space on the end of hand wheel or in front of turned. So that corrects that, so it looks proper. The each time we click on the sprite, we are going to rotate the handle 15 degrees, which is the next block we're going to build. But before we do that, we're going to set turned to 0. We're going to create a new variable called turned. We're going to set turned to 0. And then we're going to code it now, and it's going to use that turned variable. So, and this is when this sprite is clicked. So the event is when this sprite is clicked. It's another if then else control block. And we want distance to Monet, distance to, here it is. If the distance to Monet is less than 50, then change turned by 15 degrees and turn 15 degrees. So one is updating the variable. Change turned by 15 degrees. And the second one is turn 15 degrees. Clockwise. Else set hand wheel turned to 0. So that's kind of a way of resetting it. Else set hand wheel turned to 0. So let's just see what's happening there now. So each time I click on the handle, oh no, it's got to be closer. Money's got to be almost sitting on top of the handle. So now if I click, I'm just going to get the code there. I click on the handle now, we should be, it's not close enough, is it? It wasn't close enough. So you can see now the handle is spinning around. And at the moment, the degrees that it's turned is just going round. So it's not actually counting the revolutions yet, which is what the next bit of code does. So inside our if, we're going to add an if statement inside our if. So this is called a nested if statement now. So if turned equals 360, so that's a complete revolution then. So we want the operator block equals turned equals 360 degrees. Then we're going to increment hand wheel turned by 1. So change hand wheel turned by 1. And we're then going to reset turned back to 0. So these are a bit like hands on a clock, aren't they? So one's controlling a big turn big rotation, and the other one is counting the number of times it's gone round. Let's just see what happens now. He's camped on the press the green flag and move him over there. He's not close enough, so this time it's when the dot's down the left hand corner. So now it's gone, that's done one complete revolution. 2, 3, and that's the task complete. So that bit of code there works. Okay, let's save that now and let. Hi there. So this video is too long to do as one big one. So I'm stopping here and I'm going to start part 2 in a moment.